Okay, welcome. This is Andy Lee Graham. I've lived in 115 countries and I've been doing this now for 26 plus years. I'm going to talk today about a strategy. What happens is I've been in country for about 6 days. And so what happens is that every single country has a different culture, different way you got to strategize. And often the big deal is the transportation changes. My hair is out of control. Okay, I'm want to talk about what I feel is the best strategy for traveling Israel. Now, sometimes I call this the wagon wheel. Sometimes I call it the spider. I'm thinking of it now more as a spider. I do the wagon wheel more for culture. And the spider is really trying to stick my fingers into different areas. The country of Israel is not that big, but on the other side is there's a lot of Christian things that I can go see. And I've been collecting maps and trying to understand the journey of Jesus Christ inside Israel. He's also went to Egypt, I think, a little bit over into Syria. I don't know, maybe a little bit over to Lebanon, but it's referencing, it's not really clear what's going on. But what I'm doing today is I'm going to talk about the Israeli spider web travel strategy, because I naturally start doing this in every country. And that's one of the things that has made me capable of traveling things. I don't follow any itinerary. I don't have a set way of traveling any countries. But a spider, I'm going to call this a spider travel theory. But what happens is a spider could have the center of the web, and then you put your little fingers all over the place. And the cost of the hotels here is really very high. I'm not sure what level of, this isn't as expensive as Western Europe or thing. You can get hostels for right around $20 to $25. Not that many, okay? And this is the problem. I'm looking for a regional thing. So I'm gonna go, but I want everybody to realize that the way to travel is to continually adapt, okay? And what that means is that you continually adapting to the present situation so that you can change. Don't lock into anything. If you lock into anything, you're going to basically try to live somebody else's life and you're not going to enjoy it. But you have to learn to think on your feet, do call audibles. It's a football term. The call audible is at the line of scrimmage, something changes, and then you call a different play while you're right at the line of scrimmage. That's called a call audible in football. But I make a lot of call audibles on the spot. Normally, my best way to travel, the number one way I love to travel, is to just get on a bus, go about an hour, 2 hours away, get off and find a room. Now, that would cost probably a minimum of $100 a night for a hotel, okay? I think I could find the hotels if I did this strategy. I don't think I could keep it under $100 to $200 a night for the hotel. There's a direct correlation between Google Maps and the booking service. They seem to have this completely enmeshed that almost only hotels that you see on Google Maps are hotels that are on the booking service and somehow probably pay in advertising fees for Google. There's a great reason, I do want to say, especially for people that are Christians that are coming to Israel, this is definitely a great country to do tours. They're very expensive, but at the same sense, it's not an easy country because 90% of the words that you're seeing on the street signs everywhere you see them is in Hebrew. Now, don't get me wrong, younger people speak Hebrew pretty well. I'm kind of spoiled. I realized I had a kind of a cherry-picked view of the Israeli people because I see what I call after-army Israelis. These after-army Israelis are highly educated. They speak Spanish. I mean, they speak they speak English very well. And what's interesting is they're travelers and they're in very fit shape. Here I have a melange de tout. I have a group of all the normal people. So I have the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it's not as physically developed as it appears to me when I'm meeting these guys in Brazil or Colombia or Guatemala or Thailand. They can only go to certain countries. They can't go to all countries. But what I'm trying to say is there are countries where it would be easier just to pay for a tour and enjoy it, unless you really are like me, that is a cultural traveler. I'm a cultural traveler. I want to see how the people live. I want to see what they do. I want to understand all the ways they travel through the country. I want to understand the people. I like people more than I like tourist attractions. Okay, but I am also a Christian, so I'm going to go to many things. Now, the life of Jesus Christ was all over the place in a lot of ways. He went up to the Sea of Galilee and he went over to different places. And I've got, what I'm trying to do though is, today I went to the Rav Kav. What's really unique about this country is you can't just go out and get on a bus. You have to get a special Rav Kav, RAVKAV card, and it's quite difficult to get there and quite difficult to understand. And the guys there don't speak English, but very well. They do a little. But I purchased today I put for about 233 shekels. I purchased a 30-day unlimited bus pass. Now, he said that the one for the train together was going to cost $600. That's really a lot of money, like $200 or $300. It's kind of like when you're in Europe, everybody wants to talk about the Euro Pass and all this stuff. This thing's so expensive that I've never even bought it. I would only buy it if I had a daughter and I wanted her to have a place to sleep, because they can sleep on the train when they screw up on their hotel room. But I got a list of 5 different places where regions. So I got these 5 regions, and then what you're going to do is I have like one region. So I'm in Tel Aviv right now. I have Israel over here, and then there'll be fingers and spider webs going out from it. And I'm capable of going for like 2 hours away and 2 hours back, and like making a trip to the Jordan River from Jerusalem. The bus system is quite confusing because not that many people speak English well enough to explain. I was at the right bus stop, and I actually got told by another guy that I was at the wrong bus stop. And you really have, I'm working on a system to try to figure out how to use Google Maps. They're telling me to use this app called Move, but it's mostly in Hebrew, so it don't really work. They do have a kind of an Uber system called Get, which you can get a taxi. It's called G-E-T-T. It's Get with the extra T. And I think it works pretty good. I'm all signed up for that. The trouble is they don't tell you the price. Okay, so this is a tourist trap country by design. And I think what they are doing is they're making it very onerous so that everybody goes on tours, and basically they bend over everybody and get the most amount of money. This is not an easy to travel country. Okay, but I got 6 locations where I'm going to have a base. So you see the spider sitting in the middle of the web, right? So think of the spider wheel. You can think of a wagon wheel with the hub, right? Here's the hub and there's the spokes all over the place. Same kind of thing. I have collected over 250 different types of travel strategies, and people always want to ask me which strategy I'm using, but I use this one a lot just because it's the easy one. You find a hotel, and I never move from one hotel until I have the next hotel, but I normally have a backup hotel too. So I have 2 hotels that one that I've already reserved a room for 17 days because I'm very fortunate or unfortunate that the holiday season is coming, so the New Year's here, and I have to. I'm live at the same time, so I had to look down there and kind of lost my train of thought. What that means is I have 2 or 3 hotels as my chosen thing. So if something breaks down with one, I can always hop to the other. And there's people that get reservations on, especially on Christmas, New Year's, spring break, and they overbook and they have no place to sleep. This is very, very common, okay? That's why a tour, where you have a tour with the hotel included, is kind of a good deal for a lot of people. My mom and dad used to do this a lot with bus tours, which I think buses are the best ways to travel in the country because they're up high. A train is really the worst way to understand a country. You just see the inside of the train. It goes through these little thing. I know hoboontheroad pushes these things, but most Europeans and everybody want to push this, but I consider it the worst way to travel. In some ways, it'd be nice to always rent a car. I would say it'd be extremely dangerous in this country to drive a car because the signs are all in Hebrew, and it's like being in an Arabic country. This is like being in South Korea. This is like being in any of the Arabic countries, like I was in Iraq or something like that. Very similar type of mentality. It really feels Arab in a lot of ways. But I'll tell you the 6 different areas where I'm starting my hub, or my spider in the middle of the spider, in the middle of the net. Tel Aviv, which is the number one thing to do here, is the beaches, and it's a business city. It's a place where you come to arrange your transport. You get, like right now, I just got my Ravcab card. I got my thing. Now, we got a senior discount, but it doesn't apply to foreigners. Okay, so most of the information on the internet you're finding is that it's extremely wrong. Okay, so the big problem about the internet is they can put up anything, and it's very difficult to find the truth. But Jerusalem is going to be my second base. The third one is going to be the Sea of Galilee, which is north. And on the other side of the Sea of Galilee is the Golan Heights. That's where Israel just went in there and occupied a whole area to try to buffer themselves against the Syria. I don't even call these guys. They had a coup, a revolution, and they took over the country. But it's rebels, and they're probably going to be fighting over who gets to run the country, right? So I'm going to I'm going to try to then go to the Golan Heights, the Syria area. I would like to jump across the lake, the Sea of Galilee, excuse me, and try to figure out how to do it. One of my friends, Bar, this girl I met, was actually walking in Syrian-made tunnels. So it seems like the Palestinian people, the Syrian people, I don't think the Jordan people, but the Lebanon people are all wanting to make tunnels, which it doesn't actually make much sense to me. Okay, so then I want to go down by Gaza. That's going to be the hardest place to do it because there's very few hotels listed, and I think I'll go to that place where they had the kibbutz, and it's called Re'em, R-E-E-M or something like that. They had this music festival, and then at this music festival, they came and killed like 200 people, then raped and pillaged and plundered, right? The Hamas is this is not a normal kind of what we would consider a war. It's really like a riot, kill anybody you want, steal anything you want type war. And it's really difficult to fight because they also have tunnels, right? But number 6 is the Dead Sea. I want to go to the Dead Sea and I want to swim in there and see if I float, okay? Somewhere along the line, Jerusalem, if you go to the border, but what you can do, there's many ways to do it. There's some websites, but each one of these areas, these 6 areas that I just pointed out, has spider web trips where I can go about 1 to 2 hours away or close, right? And I can go and look at some Christian sites and then come back to the same hotel. Changing hotels in this country, I was planning on changing weekly, but there's just not enough hotels unless I go up to like the $75 to $100 a day budget. I don't have that kind of money. The good part is I started this out with an Israeli budget of, $44, and now I can lower that by $8 a day. So I'm really now at $36 a day budget. Okay, so I've lowered my budget because of the Rav card is only about $60 a month, so it's $2 a day. Instead of paying $10 a day for transportation, I'm going to be paying 2 or 3. Okay, so I'm lowering the budget, and this is what happens when you travel enough. You get each day, each week, each month that you stay in country, the cost of living goes down because you start to understand the infrastructure of the travel situation. Okay, and this is something I constantly talk about, and I don't think hardly anybody listens, but the first 10 days in the country are when you should go to do the least amount of travel. Okay, the first 10 days. But most of you, in the first 10 days, you came and done all your tourist attractions and left the country. That is, to me, a good reason to stay home and watch read Wikipedia and look at videos on YouTube instead of coming to the country. Not really in my way. I would never want to travel that way. But the first 7-10 days in country are the most expensive, so that's when you become acclimated, enculturated, and whatever. So I now understand the language problems. It's not as bad as South Korea, but it's pretty bad on the signs, and I have to study the bus things constantly. And the Israelis, I don't really believe the Israelis want tourists at all. I think what they're doing is they've created a very onerous, very difficult situation, so that what they do is they get the people that they can just, the cream off the top. And there's a lot of countries that do this. What they do is they make it so expensive, and they almost by a trust or a monopoly, they keep you in a box where you have no choice. The transportation by itself will keep you in a box. It's very difficult to navigate this country without somebody to help you. And that's what they want. When they do this, if they keep all the signs and whatever, the people that come give up and they all get a tour. And that's what they want. That's a tourist trap situation. You get put between a rock and a hard place, and you have no choice but to accept what the situation is. I don't see, don't get me wrong, the Israelis could be very helpful, and there's a lot of people that'll talk. They're extremely talkative. Okay, they're not shy in a way that if you start talking, and because I talk in English, I don't try to speak any kind of Hebrew, except I have said Toda, which means thank you. It's supposed to be Toda Lesh, but I don't know. They only say Toda, I think. But I'll learn a few words, and then Shalom, which is like Shalom in Iraq or something. It's a real Arabic type word. It goes across many countries. Shalom, Shalom, whatever. But the 6 places I'm going to go to are, again, Tel Aviv. I've already been there. The next stop, which would be up till Christmas, from about December 16th to the 2nd of January, will be Jerusalem. I'll be in a capsule hotel. A capsule hotel is like a little room inside a room. And so they put, say 6 of these capsules in a big room. And then I guess you go in there and you close your door and you're in a little box, right? I've never lived in one, and I opted for that because I really want to see what they were. I could have went to one in Guatemala City, but I didn't. Okay, then the third one is the Sea of Galilee. I really want to see the Sermon on the Mount location, because five Matthew, Mark, Luke, and all these guys wrote about a chapter in the Bible on this. My name is Andy, or Andrew in there, and on the Sea of Galilee, they took Andrew, which was a fisherman, and made him a fisher of men. So I want to kind of learn about my name. My parents didn't name me because of the Bible, but it is. Golan Heights in Syria. It'd be really nice if I could hook up with some Israelis that could, or the military or anybody that could take me into these areas. In Iraq, I could have done that real easy. I don't know what happens if I get up close to the war zones. I have no idea what happens at that thing. I have a very small backpack, which is partly because of my heart thing. Hello. And but on the other side is I've been walking. I've been trying to keep my walking down to about 5,000 steps a day, and I think anybody that does any kind of exercise should keep their actual impact walking down. The reason why my knees are wore out is because I walk too much, right? And contrary to what you think, walking is not the best form of exercise, in my opinion. Weightlifting is the better way because it pumps up the blood to all your muscles. So you can see that I've got these 6 spiders, and each one of them's got their own little web, and each of these locations are of interest to different people. So Jerusalem is kind of the center of the world, the kingdom of, I will love this movie, The Kingdom of Heaven, and I'm going to probably watch 3 or 4 YouTube videos on the life of Jesus Christ, so I can put together what he did as he roamed around the country. Okay, Gaza. But if you want to have me investigate any particular specific thing, like right now I have 3 specific requests. One is to see, Dave wants me to see some olive trees. Then my friend Amos wants me to take and get some water from the Jordan River where Jesus Christ was baptized by, I think, John the Baptist, I think it was. And then on the third one is my friend Russell, I shouldn't say his last name, from Indiana, wants me to go to the tomb where they had that big stone in there and Jesus was reborn after he got killed, right? Okay, so that's my goal, that's my trip, that's what I'm doing. So I'm calling this a thing, and it's a very common trip. This is very common. I'll just go get a hotel in one place and make little spider web strings or wagon wheel spokes out from the place, and it's a good way to remove the discomfort of travel. See, the most anybody that's comfortable when they're traveling, they should be on a resort and they should be living in a situation better than they do at home. That's not, if you're feeling comfortable, you're really not traveling. You should be on vacation. If you're on vacation, then you should be comfortable in a certain way. But moving, any kind of moving is disruptive to the mind, the spirit, and the emotional status of a person. And that's probably my biggest strength, is I'm emotionally strong enough to adapt continually all day long to different situations. And but the biggest adaptation people have is when they have trouble with the this guy, he's funny. The biggest adaptation is to have to change rooms. So if you can keep the room and you sleep in the same bed, that's the stability that you need to do. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Have a fun and safe trip. Big time adventures. Yes, I'll probably be going live a lot, and so you have to hit that bell thing and then click it so that you get a notification. And I've been going live a couple times a day. I delete a lot of them, but every one of these things I'm trying to get the interaction with the readers, the viewers, so that I can, the good questions help me to understand a country. A very good question is half the distance to a good answer. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? I'm in Tel Aviv, Israel. On tomorrow, Monday, I go to thank anybody that is a Patreon or wants to help me to. Here, I have a GoFundMe page and a Patreon link in all my descriptions. So if you can get to the description, you can see that you can become a Patreon. The Patreon allows you to communicate with me, and so I have different levels of communication. Things. So some of you that would like to live your life less normal, become a Patreon, and I can sort of help you and mentor you into becoming a world traveler. It's an emotional battle. It's not a money battle. The money is the easy part. It's the emotional management of a never ever changing world that causes people to give up on travel. When you go home after vacation and you feel really relaxed because you're finally at home, think about it. If you had stayed out for 6 months, there would be a point where you become adjusted, but most people never feel safe until they get home. They really just go on a trip so that they can say they went on the trip and they can tell it. So most, in my opinion, most tourists are going on trips that are about thing. Okay, Richard Howell's asking a question. Hi, Andy. Hallelujah means praise. Hi, you people. How do you feel about that? Yeah, praise. I'm going into the kingdom of heaven in a way, and I don't feel a sense of holiness. I'm going to make a video on what it is to feel holy. The last time I was in Israel in 2005. I wrote a blog post. This is before YouTube and videos and a lot of stuff. And I wrote a blog post saying the unholy lands, okay? Because there's a lot of people opting to do the unholy here, okay? And I'm not saying that the Crusaders and all these different religions are doing anything right, okay? They obviously don't want to live in harmony, which is, to me, the opposite of a holy situation. Living in harmony is holy. What Hamas did was just the essence of evil. But the rules of Muhammad on the Quran pretty much say you have to overturn a country. So I really is not a compatible religion with any other country. Okay, I'm here and you're not. Why not? Become a Patreon. You can call me, write me. A very good question is always what I like. I don't care about money much. I really need more money. But on the other side is what I really thrive on is a very good question. A very good question. And Richard, thank you very much. He's always preoccupied with that, talking about cannabis. Okay, I'll go off. I will stop this video and I'll go look and see what they're doing on the live video. I'm here. You're not. Why not? It's emotions.